Hey, everybody. I should say this time instead of good afternoon, good early evening. So, we had some technical difficulties earlier today, and I wanted to get this interview in because I want you guys to know who John is, what it is that he does. So, it's been a long day for the both of us, but I appreciate him coming back. And if you are watching this on replay, when you look at it later, please let us know. Also, very important, if you want to ask any questions of John or myself, make sure you go onto our Unapologetically Me page. We can see your comments there, because if you put them on my personal page, we can't see them until after the show. So I want to bring into the studio with me, Mr. John Neral. Hi, John.
Hi, Felicia. All right, we're going to do this round two. We're going to have an even better time than what we did this afternoon. So we're good.
I think so too. So anyway, even though some may have heard this earlier today, but again, let's do this again. So John, where are you coming in from today? In Virginia, right?
Yeah, so I'm in Vienna, Virginia, which is just outside of Washington, D.C.
There you go. Now, how did you and I meet?
We met on social media. So you were hosting a show for RVN TV called Power Up Your Passion. And I saw that post and I responded to it. And you were kind enough to invite me onto your show. We had a great time there. And then you and I have just stayed in touch through the power of LinkedIn and emails and messaging and things like that. And it's just been not only just a great connection, but a really great friendship as well. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And we were talking earlier today. I was on your podcast as well. What I forgot to ask you is the name of your podcast and when does your podcast come on?
Yeah, so it's called the Mid-Career GPS Podcast. You can find it wherever you listen. And new episodes drop every Tuesday morning at 5 a.m. And the second and fourth Fridays of every month currently, I feature an amazing guest such as yourself. I so appreciated that conversation. So it was episode 14. Everybody can go back and take a listen to that as well.
Yeah, that was fun. And I was down at the shore when I did that one. So today I'm here in Philadelphia.
Nice.
So, which is all good and everything. So I want to go back a little bit. I know there's so many things you do. You're a leadership and career coach. You're a speaker. You're an author. You have a book that's coming out. So we'll be able to talk about that a little bit. And also you have your most recent book behind you, I see, which you sent me a copy of, and I loved it.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's hopefully the second book is coming out. We're anticipating the end of July. So that'll be really nice to get that book over the finish line and out to everybody.
I'm sure. Are you able to share the title with us or not yet?
Absolutely. So the book is called Your Mid-Career GPS: 4 Steps to Figuring Out What's Next.
Wow.
And it's really designed for anybody who is in the process of a career transition and gets easily overwhelmed by all of the logistics and things like that they need to do. So the book is really this kind of tactical guide to help them prepare, position, and promote who they are and what they do so they can show up to find a job they love or love the job they have.
Wow. I'm telling you, it's interesting. Okay. So take us, I know you explained to us earlier, but for the guests that didn't get a chance to see this earlier, take us through, if I was a client and I was coming to you from start to finish, how would you work with me?
Yeah. So we're going to work together one-on-one for 3 to 4 months. And during that time, we're going to cover 4 specific things. So in the preparation phase, we're going to talk about everything related to your leadership and career attitudes, about where you are in the workplace and in the career process. We're going to talk about your workplace strengths and why they are of value to the people you're working with, the companies you're working for, or even if you're in business for yourself, why that is valuable to really create what I like to call a unique professional value statement. And then we're going to move on into the positioning phase. And that's where we're going to take a look at your resume and your LinkedIn and make sure that all of those pieces tell your story really well. right? Because one of the things I think people miss often in this whole process, whether they're a career professional, an entrepreneur, is that we can't forget we are a personal and professional brand. Right. So
Right.
if we get all of those things together, then when we go to promote who we are and what we do, we can talk very naturally and authentically and genuinely, but also intentionally about it from this place of value and service and what that looks like for a company we may go to work with. And so that's another piece where in the promoting phase, we're going to talk about how do we network? How do you network and how do you interview from a very different place where you're not directly tied to the outcome, that you
Right.
get to show up from this place of value and service. And then the last piece that gets woven into everything are my show up 6 strategies, which help people focus on how they set ground rules and have intentional conversations, how they own where they are and welcome new opportunities, and how they use their genius and protect and promote their brand so that whatever they go to find next, whether it's a bridge job or the job where they actually go to grow some roots in, that they're really ready to go there and serve and make the impact they want.
Wow. You know what? And you give them so much value. I love it. And it's hand holding, but you're working with them directly to make sure that they stay on the path and, try to do what it is that you have mapped out for them. So I imagine that the two of you sit down and work out what it is, where they want to be, you said within that 6-month period.
So really it's in about 3 to 4 months where
Okay.
they're very, very clear about what that next step is going to look like for them.
Right. Wow. So you came from a background of teaching. So how did you get from well, actually, if you're coaching, it's kind of like doing the same thing, except for you're different, doing it on a different spectrum. So how did you come from a background of teaching to where you are now?
A lot of once as I progressed in my teaching career, Felicia, I had a very strong background in instructional coaching. So the
Mhm.
coaching relationship was really important. And as I progressed through my career and I moved to different positions, one of the biggest ones was getting out of the classroom and going to work directly with teachers and helping them be better educators to directly impact student achievement.
Mhm.
And so the instructional coaching piece was really designed on how do I help you be better at what you do?
Right.
So the last job that I held before I opened up my coaching practice full time was working for an educational nonprofit where I did training and staffing direction.
Mhm.
And it was there that I really saw this shift from there are things we do in instructional coaching that we obviously don't do in corporate or career coaching.
Right.
So to make that kind of shift to really help people identify how they were navigating things on a day-to-day basis, how their career was progressing, whether they saw a path for themselves internally, or it was about helping them move out of the company and look at an opportunity elsewhere. It really was a very natural progression. I mean, I got my coach certification and things like that,
Mhm.
but it was things that just kind of genuinely evolved where people saw where I was valuable to either a district or a state or to an organization where I could really help them and help their talent move in a way that was going to be better for everybody.
Right, right. And we were laughing before because we were saying the parents had no idea of what
Oh,
teachers really do or what teachers really did.
yes, absolutely. These past 15 months have really been an eye-opening for everybody,
Mhm.
right? We got to do things, albeit sadly, right? But we
Right,
got to do things that we had never really envisioned or thought that would be able to do on a regular basis, right? So teachers found ways to teach remotely.
mhm.
Parents found ways that they were able to teach their kids and realize how hard it was. But then there were also some people that thought, you know what? I actually kind of like this.
Mhm.
And so we saw these learning pods pop up, or we saw people who were doubling down and being fully invested in their kids' education in ways where they weren't before.
Right.
So there's so much that has happened in that, and I'm personally glad to see that that kids and teachers are going to be going back to the school building,
Right.
hopefully a whole lot safer with everything come the fall, and we can get back to that structure that is really important for kids in my eyes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I mean, they're opening up the world slowly. But again, I still have anxiety about some things. One of the things is, that they're going to be letting people go into restaurants without masks. They're saying, well, the ones that have their injections, that they can go into but you don't know. You don't know who had their injection and who don't have their injection. So I still have anxiety about that. And just, as the world is slowly starting to open up. And I think you and I were talking, you were saying that you and Richard, had just started entertaining, where Paul and I, we're not at that point yet, but we will be. But again, it's just so much anxiety.
It is, absolutely. We had two very dear friends over our house a couple weekends ago to celebrate Richard, who's my husband, his birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great. We had a really nice meal, and everybody was vaccinated, and it took that kind of pressure off. But I'm with you on that, where we, in a lot of ways, Felicia, like, we got used to what we were doing, right?
I know.
Food delivery is wonderful.
Yes, it is. And doing Zooms, like from the waist up, you're dressed, and the rest you got your pajamas on.
Right. I mean, I got jeans on, but we're all good.
Right.
But it's that kind of thing where, as human beings,
Mm-hmm.
we learn to adapt because it's how we survive, right?
Right.
For us as entrepreneurs, we found ways to pivot our business, but still find ways to make connections and get that reach that we want in order to serve the people we do on a daily basis.
Right.
I mean, honestly, I was never a big one for the big, like, yuck, networking luncheon meeting and passing out business cards and all those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the virtual coffee that I can invite somebody to on LinkedIn and just build a connection with somebody, one person at a time, and make that really meaningful and intentional without the pressure of trying to navigate a large room, which sometimes for me is a little difficult.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming. I remember when I first started networking, when I was building the brand of PWNC, I would go to networking events and I would have my phone out and pretend like I was like looking at something because I was afraid to go and talk to people. And then I ended up taking a networking class, professional networking class. And the first thing she said is, you have to remember, everyone is here for the same reason. They are here to network, to meet, get out of your comfort zone. So it was, and she said, you may not be able to talk to everyone in the room, but if you get 5 significant connections that you can follow up on, that's what you focus on. So, I mean, it could have went either way. I mean, COVID for PWNC, we grew. We really grew. I mean, it allowed us to go global, something that I couldn't have done if I kept running around, running. My husband and I, we wasn't spending the quality time together that, we needed to. And, now we can have meals together. Now we can do things together. He was fortunate enough to be able to work from home. So he's been home all this time. So, it took a lot of, I think we were talking earlier about the time it takes from your day, him driving there almost an hour, coming back almost an hour. So that's 2 hours going out the day. Right. He didn't get home until late. He's coming in, I'm leaving for a networking event. So I know for sure if I would have kept going that way, it wouldn't have been good for me health-wise. So, I'm looking at it as a blessing, kind of.
Absolutely. I so agree with you both, because I know for us, one of the things was we never really sat down to have a meal together unless it was either really late in the evening or it was on the weekends.
Right.
Right. And so I work from home. Richard was commuting. So with him being home, we got to do things like we got to cook together.
Right.
Right. Or one cooks and the other cleans, kind of a thing. And it's just, but you're there in that same space together, which I mean, I often joke with him. I'm like, thank God I like you, right? Just because it does. I mean, there's a whole different level in that regard of where we get to cohabitate and relate. I mean, we're lucky. We have a nice home and we have 3 levels, so we're not. We kind of meet in the middle at some points during the day, type thing. But it's definitely been, and for us, and then for a lot of couples, it's just been an opportunity to renegotiate and reevaluate what that looks like. And for a lot of people, and some of my clients in particular, who thought the luxury about working remotely and then quickly learned it wasn't as luxurious as they thought.
Right.
There was some disappointment or resentment in that, because all of a sudden the comfy chair that they would sit in at the end of the day became the place where they had their meetings.
Right.
And so that comfy chair was now a work chair.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
It wasn't the same.
Right. I can relate to that, because Paul and I, we have, well, you consider it a triplex as well, or, the 3 levels. So we had one level where I'm on now, which is our home office. Then we have our main level with the kitchen and the patio, and then the middle room, So I would be in the kitchen. I'm sorry, I sound like I'm getting a feedback here again. So I would be in the kitchen and he would be in the home office. And, I guess that's how we made it work. And we met in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You find we have all kind of found ways to make it work. And some of it was pretty gracefully and some of it wasn't, because what we experienced over the last year plus has been something we never experienced before.
This is so true.
Right? I mean, I think there was I think it was Brene Brown. I'm pretty sure it was Brene Brown. And it was some kind of quote that she posted on social media. And it's like, can we just acknowledge that nobody's doing a good job with this? Right? We're all just trying to figure this out as we go through things. So
yeah, because it was all new for all of us. I mean, we didn't know what was going on. It happened so quickly. And like you said, and the ones that were successful being entrepreneurs are the ones that knew how to pivot or try to pivot. There were a lot of brick and mortars that had to close. But then on the other hand, there were a lot of new businesses that were started in the middle of COVID that has been successful. So it's a win lose, but this world of entrepreneurship, let me ask you a question. If someone asked you about this world of entrepreneurship, someone new getting into it, thinking about it, what advice would you give them?
Oh, that's such a great question. Yeah, no, it's the advice that I would give them would really be to just give yourself the space and the grace to fail and succeed all at the same time.
I love it. I love
right?
it.
Because there's so many things that I know in my journey that I did that I would never, ever, ever go back and do again. But that quote unquote fail was a tremendous opportunity for me to learn.
Right.
And to do that in a way like that just builds on the success. I mean, one of the great things about being an entrepreneur, and we had talked about this earlier, was, I forget what you said. It was like we have to like kill to eat or something like that.
Yeah, we have to. Yeah, we eat what we kill.
We eat what we kill. That sounds a whole lot better than when I said it. It makes me sound like a murderer.
But I knew what you were talking about. There's some child somewhere that we just traumatize because with mommy, they're talking about eating and killing me.
Exactly. See, this is the joy of doing this at 5:30 and not at 12:30. We can have that kind of chuckle, right? But no, I mean, we have unlimited potential and reach as entrepreneurs.
Yes.
We can reach as many people as we want. We can make as much money as we want. And really honor the self that in our business, as we define who we are as entrepreneurs, to get really clear about how we serve and the success that we want, right? I love it in the fact that I don't do anything in my business I don't want to do.
That's right.
As a solopreneur, I'm answering the phone, I'm sending the emails, I'm booking the appointments, I mean, all of those kind of things. Right now, I am a one-person shop,
Yeah.
right? And maybe down the road, I will have an opportunity, and I look forward to that, to bringing some people in and hiring some people for support. But I like the fact right now that I get to do everything. I get to learn the marketing side, right? I edit audio files for my podcast and be like, I never would have done this as a math
I
teacher. Look
know.
what I get to learn today. So those opportunities where we can fail and succeed and really give ourselves the space and the grace to do that, I think that's one of the biggest pieces of advice I could offer.
Yeah, and that's great advice. But you know, you see a lot of these young entrepreneurs, or I should say, want to be entrepreneurs, because you have a lot of people out here. I'm an entrepreneur. I want to be an entrepreneur, until they find out what they have to do to put the work in. You know, it's not always unicorns and fairies. You know, some days it's dark. Some days it's being alone, especially if you're a solo entrepreneur. You know, the outcome, you know, I remember when I did my first event, Paul and I was so excited. I was ready to go meet the people. And I was like, wow, you know, this many people registered. I'm excited. And I get there and half of what registered wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? And then you get there and the disappointment, you know, but you have to go on anyway, because it's your dream. Nobody can do your dream, or nobody can visualize your dream, because it wasn't given to them, it was given to you. So, you know, there's a lot of days, you and I were talking earlier, you might work 12 hours, you know, there might be a Saturday or a Sunday, everybody's out at the park, at the beach, and you're in the house because you got to get a business plan together, or you have to set up newsletters for next week. So it's glamorous, yes, but then there's a lot of work too that people don't see behind the scenes.
You're so right. I mean, I chuckle every day when I get like one of those messages on LinkedIn or Instagram where they're like, do you want to be a 7-figure coach? Do you only want to work 4 hours a day?
Right.
And
I'm still waiting for that one.
As you tell, right?
Find me and teach me that.
I mean, I don't live, not that I know of, unless my neighbors are hiding one in their garage, but like there's not a Lamborghini I can borrow to go stand next to and take a photo of and be like, look at me and all this. Like the stuff that gets out there on social media can really create this kind of a lure and a fantasy about what entrepreneurship really, really is. And to your point, you have to love the work, because if you don't, you're not going to do it.
You're not going to do it. And that's the whole thing there. I always tell people, if you're not eating, sleeping, thinking, dreaming about your business or your vision or your goals, don't do it. Don't do it. It almost is to the point where it consumes you, where it keeps you up at night because you're thinking about, okay, the next. I remember 2 years into my business, I was just running. I was looking at the next. What can I do? The next. And someone said to me, Felicia, calm down. You need to sit and look at what you have done up to this point and appreciate that, because you're not taking those little wins that you're doing and appreciating and celebrating those, because you're too busy saying, okay, that's accomplished, next. So it was then that the aha moment for me, that I slowed down and I was like, okay, because so many times I talk to women and they're like, well, I may not tell people that I'm doing this, or I may not tell people I got this win, or this happened to me in my business. And I'm like, you worked hard to be where you are. Share that. The people that get you and support you, they will continue to support you. We're always going to have haters. We know that. You can't, hey, when you stop having haters, then, you're doing something wrong. But, let people know what it is that you're doing. And it's not coming from a place of being boisterous, but a place of letting people know, hey, if I did this, you can do this too. I always tell people, there's no difference between me and anybody else that wants to start a business. The only difference is I decided to make a decision and I executed on it. That's all.
The key word that you said there was share.
Mm-hmm.
right? I get to share my success, or you work with somebody and they get to share their success. And to your point, it's not coming from this place where we're being boastful or we're
Right.
bragging.
Right.
I mean, fair enough. A lot of us were raised in environments where we were taught that wasn't acceptable. It wasn't admirable. You just don't do that, right?
Right.
Um, and there are times when, yes, somebody does come in first
Mm-hmm.
and somebody comes in second. And it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that their effort might have been any less. It's just what happened, right? We
Mm-hmm.
know when we go to bid for some work, somebody's going to get it. Some days it's going to be me, some days it's going to be somebody else.
Right.
That's okay. That's what helps me learn. But if we don't
Right.
take time, and to the point in your show, like if we are not being unapologetic for the way we serve and the successes we have, then we just quiet our voice where nobody else gets to know the things that we're doing.
Right.
And really, for us as entrepreneurs, it's about how can I help you?
Right.
Right?
Right.
If I meet somebody and they're struggling in their career, or they're getting to final rounds in interviews, but they're not closing the deal, I can help them.
Yep.
Right? If they're overwhelmed by the whole job transition process, I can help them. If
Mm-hmm.
they're struggling in that middle management, senior level leadership position, and they're not sure where they want to take their leadership journey, I can help them. But
Mm-hmm.
if I don't make that offer and say to them, would you be interested in having a conversation because I can help you?
Right.
And it doesn't matter whether you say yes or no. It's just, would you want to sit down and have a conversation?
Right. Right.
Let's see where that goes. Right.
Exactly. Let's see where that goes, because I may not be a fit for you. You may not be a fit for me. That was something I had to learn in this entrepreneur world, that you can't say yes to every opportunity. You can't work with everyone. You can't save everyone. And
Mhm.
you have to have those boundaries. You have to have those
Have
boundaries.
to.
It's so important. I was talking to Paul, and we're coming down to, we're winding up. Can you believe it's 27 minutes already?
Yeah, time flies with you.
I know,
It
it does,
does.
it does, it does. But I was sitting down and I was talking to Paul, and I said to him, I said, when I'm able, after I finish doing the million things that I'm doing, but when I'm able to hire a full-time staff, having people work with me, I said, I am going to release my phone and get another phone.
Mhm.
Because right now I just feel that too many people have access. They feel I can send a text at 9, 10 o'clock at night, or I can send a message on a Sunday, or different things like that. And it's not that I don't want to hear from you or I don't want to work with you, but there is a time for everything.
Yes.
Sundays is my family time. I don't do any business unless I'm in the house. I have something to do, but that's my family time. At night, after a certain time, that's my family time. Respect that. Don't feel that. So we were talking about that, and he was like, well, maybe you should get another phone at some point. And I was like, well, I'm definitely going to, but so we're going to be wrapping up shortly. But before we do, I want to bring up your website so people can know how they can get in contact with you. And then I'll make a couple of announcements. So that is John's website up there. So how else can people get in contact with you besides johnneral.com?
Absolutely. So they can certainly connect with me on LinkedIn. They can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at John Neral Coaching. Email's always great. John@johnneral.com is easy enough. And then you can follow my podcast. It's called the Mid-Career GPS Podcast. It's on all the platforms wherever you listen. And if anybody is in a state of career transition or trying to figure out what's next, I'd like to personally invite them to join my private Facebook group. It's called Your Mid-Career GPS. And it's a great community of people who are all trying to figure out whatever the next steps are in their career.
Yeah, just like the rest of us, right?
Absolutely. We're all trying to figure out somewhere to go. It's just a matter of how quickly we get there.
Yeah, it's a matter of how quickly we get there and the relationships that we form along the way. I'm a big believer in relationships. I always tell people I could not have built PWNC to where it is without the relationships and the collaborations that I have met along the way, including you. We ended up meeting from LinkedIn, which is a great source. And I found out what it was. It's called Preview on LinkedIn. That's what I was trying to, preview.
Ah, okay.
So the preview you can go into, and that allows you to show what's coming up next or different things like that. But, I appreciate you. I'm glad that we met. You're a wealth of information. I'm sure that you and I are going to be on each other something again, whether it's your podcast, my show again, but, we're definitely going to cross paths again. And when you come to Philadelphia, you can let me know too, so we all can meet up.
Well, I look forward to that. And I think the next time you and I meet is probably going to be at a conference or on a stage somewhere.
I hope so.
I look forward to that when everything is safe for us to go ahead and do that. So
yes, absolutely.
I appreciate you as well. Thanks so much as always for the time. I admire your work and I appreciate you so much. So thanks again.
Oh, John, thank you. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you to agreeing to come back this afternoon because we both had long days. So I appreciate that. But I'm going to say a couple of announcements and then go and say goodbye to my guest. Okay. So everyone, I just want to let you know what's going on in the PWNC world here. We have in June 17th, actually, I will be doing another training for Temple Small Business Development Center. Very excited about that. That is going to be how to find your target market. That's on a Thursday around lunchtime, 1:30 to 2:30. You can go to that link there, which is phillywnc.org/upcoming events. Or if you just go to phillywnc.org, you can go to the events page and find out more about that and register for that. That is a free event. We also have on June 16th, we have Fran McNeil, who is going to be coming to do a training on 7 questions to improve your business sanity. That is going to be a Wednesday evening from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. So for all you entrepreneur mommies or daddies that work during the day, this is at a great time where you'll be able to sit down and get some great information. The cost of that is $10. The $10 goes towards our PWNC Foundation, which is our nonprofit. What we do at our nonprofit is we work with those women who are looking to transition from full and part-time jobs into full-time entrepreneurship. So we have a program we're putting together in place to help them with that. So again, you can go to our events page or our website or go directly to the site there. And last, we wanted to let you know there is a Grow Your Business Global Virtual Summit series that is coming. That is the website. That is the link down there for you to go, but it's going to be a great 2-day event. Women coming together, uplifting, learning things for your business, all types of things. So you'll be able to get more information there if you are interested. So that's all we have as far as announcements. So John, I will be right back.
All right.
Okay, everyone, thank you once again for coming this evening. I know this is a little different than the time that we usually have, but John, I want to thank him for coming back as well. I hope you guys have a great evening. Don't forget to come back next Tuesday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Unapologetically Me. Let us know who you are, if you like what we're doing, different things like that. Again, if you're seeing this on replay, don't forget to go back and let us know that you're seeing this on replay. All right. So everybody have a great evening. Thank you.